everyone, I'm Jared Z. I have a quick question for you. Have you ever gone out and taken photographs based on the emotional state that you're in? So whether you're happy or you're sad or you're confused or you're just thoughtful, taking a camera and going out and expressing yourself through the lens is really cool. It's a practice as old as art. I think through the history of art, one of the reasons people wanted to do art was because they were feeling something and they're like, I need to do something. But I never really did that very much before. I was more of a analytical photographer, and I think that my photos suffered for that earlier on in my career. One of the ways that changed, the time points when that changed, was when I was in San Francisco, visiting San Francisco for like 3 days. And the morning after my first day, I got a phone call saying that my uncle had died. My uncle was somebody who I really truly loved. He was a really important part of my life. I'm lucky to have two amazingly incredible uncles that really impacted me. But the uncle who passed away, he and I had become almost strangers in like 20 years. And we had never really talked anymore. I had called him and seen if he wanted to go and do something, and he just disconnected from me. And so I disconnected from him. So when I got that phone call, I felt weird. I didn't feel like crying or anything. I just felt kind of confused. I was wondering about the loss of any kind of chance to repair that relationship. And I was really struggling a little bit that morning. And what I did was I grabbed my camera and I started to channel my thoughts into my photography. It was really early in the morning, so I was getting out in San Francisco before a lot of the people were even out. So I was in Chinatown and nothing was really going on. It was pretty kind of awesome as far as the mood that I was in really fit the atmosphere that I was walking around in. And I was able to get some really incredible shots, and I was also able to deal with my emotions in a unique way. And throughout the day of 12 or 13 hours of walking around San Francisco, my feet were hurting, but I really, really got into this really awesome mindset of feeling fortunate to have had my uncle when I did have him, because he was a formative part of my childhood, like I said, and he really was one of the reasons, or the main reasons, I love Star Wars, the 49ers, fantasy, science fiction, horror movies, all that stuff really can be directed back to him. And those are all things that I cherish about my life now. I love all those things. And so I was able to kind of shift my thinking a little bit from sadness and maybe a little bit of regret to a little bit of a positive way, that I was focusing on the good stuff. And I was doing this all while walking through San Francisco and taking some of the best images I ever took in my life. I was channeling. I remember being there thinking about my uncle, but I don't really remember a lot of the photography. I don't remember standing in front of a building, for instance, and taking the photographs and changing my settings and all that. Instead, I remember feeling in the moment and listening to the water and hearing the seagulls, hearing the chatter in the streets, and thinking about my uncle. And I think that I invite you, whether you're feeling happy or sad, which is what I do now, if I'm feeling some kind of emotional response, grabbing my camera and going out and taking photographs has resulted in a lot better photography for me. And I would invite you to do the same. So I'm going to roll a little slideshow of the photos I took in San Francisco, and I hope you enjoy. Subscribe, like. I love photography and what it's done for my life, and I want to help as many people bring that to their lives as possible. So I hope you're along for the journey, and enjoy the photos. you.